is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Friday the 14th Podcast UHD
H Dizzle.
HD. The D is silent.
Nick, man, thank you for inviting me into your social media platforms today. I'm excited. Another great Wednesday and another horror movie to review. I'm thankful to be here. What about you? How are you?
I am doing wonderful. That's a complete lie. I live out here where it's hot. I'm just getting burnt to crisp. I almost felt like Deacon Frost.
It is hot. It was hot here today too. Heat index wise, we reached 113.
Dang.
Yeah.
Interesting. I am the 4K bad guy. I mean,
Sorry, we got excited.
We did excited. I get excited seeing you. If even though it was just like last week, it feels like it's been a long time.
It has. That's kind of weird. That's not good.
I mean, you recently did your 200, your big 200.
Big 200. It was a busy week. Yeah, 200. 4th of July, Monday. Speaking of 4th of July, Nick, what'd you do? Did you have a good 4th of July?
I was off that day. It's kind of celebrating my birthday. I mean, I
That's
celebrated
right.
on Sunday, but
A happy late birthday. What did
thank you.
what did you get to do?
What do I get to do? Work.
Besides work?
Damn it. No. Went out with my good pals, my crew. We went to a spot that we used to have so-called meetings, gatherings. When I say spot, it's really just Wings and More.
Hell yeah. We got a spot. Wings and More. You guys have a Pluckers where you live?
Pluckers, no.
No.
I mean, maybe somewhere out.
I
Just
know
not
there's
where I live.
I know there's one in Houston, but I don't know if there's one further south.
H-Town.
Yeah. And I know
Yeah,
there's one in
man.
Dallas. But yeah, man, you celebrated a birthday. What'd you do? What'd you do Monday? Did you pop any crackers? Firecrackers, I mean?
Pop something. I just went out searching far and wide to teach every Pokemon. I don't know, something like that. I don't really get to do much because I mean, I wanted to go to the movies, but I was like, can't.
Stuck in between,
There
probably in
was
between like a day before work and a day after work.
I had some limits, so I was like, I'll probably go Friday.
But you didn't get to talk about it much last week, but you did get to go see the new Ethan Hawke movie, Black Phone. Right?
I did indeed. I thought like, is there a new Before movie for the Before trilogy?
This is the sequel.
Yeah, Ethan Hawke is a great actor.
How did he do?
I mean, he didn't really have that. He could have had more screen time. Maybe that's just me being real greedy, wanting.
You know what I sense here, and I think we're about to have some trouble because I feel like Ethan Hawke is taking over. Is he going to be taking over Patrick Wilson's spot in your heart? Is Ethan Hawke is Ethan Hawke the guy?
He's a guy, but Patrick Wilson's like, I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Just Patrick Wilson's face alone does it not bad. Patrick Wilson does he have a good trilogy though?
That's true. He was in Watchmen. Watchmen's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Well, speaking of Ethan Hawke, I mean, I've been watching him in the Moon Knight series. I think I'm just like 2 episodes away from finishing it.
Nice.
He's a good bad guy in that show.
He's pretty good in that show. Ethan Hawke has surprised me here of late. He's been in some pretty decent stuff. Um, so yeah.
Yeah. Sinister, maybe in a future episode. Sinister.
Hey. But today, we, my good sir, are talking about your topic of discussion today, fEaR.com.
fEaR.com. Now,
Turns
is that an adult website?
I didn't dare put it in my my search. I
You're
don't think I'm that brave. Yeah.
Nah, but yeah, fEaR.com, and no surprise, early 2000s films. Am I gonna drift away from the era?
You know, I'm enjoying so far the era that you're picking. Some of the movies have been like hit or misses, but like, you know, just that feeling of the early 2000s, whether it be any kind of movie. You know, this movie turns 20 years old this next month, so at least over on my side of things, over on you know, in my neck of the woods over on the other podcast, we're doing a bunch of like 20-year-old stuff. So when you picked this movie, I was like, oh, you know, that's pretty cool. You know, it's another early 2000s movie, but I don't know. I just, the feeling of a horror movie in early 2000s is different from any other kind of year, I think.
Yeah. Um, one of the reasons why I wanted to choose to review this movie, because I mean, it's not really a movie you hear very often. And this was a movie I would see like in rental places or whatnot, like on shelves. Never seen a movie throughout the many years that's been out. So I was like,
So you got a nice clean DVD copy. The one I found at my local video store, and it was used and abused.
I like that.
Yeah,
Use and abuse.
but it wasn't too bad. I found it for 99 cents.
But shit, it was 99 cents.
Yeah. So it's gonna be, and you know, the same thing with you. Blockbusters, Hollywood videos, going into different rental spots over the last 20 years. Um, I've always seen that cover of the movie. I've always heard about fEaR.com, but for some reason I never picked it up, never watched it, and you know, watching it today for this episode was my first time getting into it. So
Cool.
you said yours as well too, right?
I wish I could tell you it was my first time. I wish. So no, it didn't take me one shot. I want to say, as of today, was my third attempt to watch this movie.
In the last how many days?
You know, the first I honestly can't remember when I picked this movie up. Maybe it had to be like sometime last month.
So roughly, it took you about 3 tries in 4 weeks. We're gonna dig into it because I want to ask and I want to tell. So yeah, season 1, episode 13, lucky number 13.
13. There's just something about that number, 13.
But you know what though? I don't know if this is like, I think this is good news, but like it doesn't feel like we've done 13 of these, you know, spin-off episodes. I was going through some of them earlier, and I was like, man, 13. So it's been fun. I'm excited to keep on digging in.
Mm. And then when you add it onto the main show, 26 episodes.
Force myself on.
But synopsis,
Snap.
synapse. I don't have my phone on me, so let me see if I can. Does say anything on the back to help me out with this, or
Let me dig into it, or do you want to go off? I had it pulled up if you want me to.
I want you to pull it up for me. No,
okay.
Yeah, there's this long ass thing. I'm not sure if I want to read it, to be honest.
I'll read it. I'm just reading off IMDb. If you guys did not get the nice physical copies like me and Nick have, there you can see nice little slip there. You can check this movie out for free on Freevee.
Such an interesting name.
Freevee. A New York City detective investigates murderous deaths occurring 48 hours after users log on to a site named fEaR.com. Starring Stephen Dorff, Natasha Migalone, I guess, Stephen Ray, Udo Kier, Amelia Curtis, Jeffrey Combs, directed by William Malone. fEaR.com, with a release date of August 30th, 2002.
Very interesting that there's two Stephens.
There is two Stevens, and for those of you who I might have went a little too fast for, fEaR.com, there's the look of the cast right there. Stephen Dorff, Nasasha plays Terry, Stephen Ray plays Alistair, Udo plays the guy who gets killed in the very beginning. Spoiler alert for a 20-year-old movie. Amelia Curtis plays Denise. Jeffrey Combs plays Styles. Nigel Terry plays Turnbull. Jessine plays Janine. I'm not even going to attempt her last name. Kukurowski. She sounds like she could drink some beer. So yeah, fEaR.com. Stephen Dorff, man. Let's take a look at some of his filmography. Best known for being in Blade as Deacon Frost, Immortals. Yeah. He's in some other movies too, I'm sure. But yeah, man. Stephen Dorff. You think his parents were little people?
They could have been.
What do you think of the poster here, Nick? fEaR.com. It has that earliest 2000s feel to it.
Just looking at it, yeah, you get that 2000s. That's really clickbait-y. Just something about it. I mean, you don't have to know anything about the story. Just like you seeing that cover, like it's like it might be a bad movie.
You know, I kind of when you first mentioned it a few weeks ago about fEaR.com, just by looking at the poster, I was like, I almost thought that this was a Steadicam film or a
found footage.
Yeah, found footage film.
It does come off like that. I'm trying to think of like because there's been since then there's been plenty of movies where it revolves around the internet type things. Like Pulse was another type of movie that did that.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yep. Pulse.
I still need to see the original of like the Japanese version.
Japanese.
But into the ratings. Now this is oof. I'm scared. Not for the movie.
You scared of your rating? Or you're scared of my rating?
I'm scared of both ratings.
All right, man. You know the rules. Whoever smelt it dealt it first.
Whoever denied it supplied it.
There you go. Bum bum bum.
Dum dum dum.
Dramatic music.
Oh shit, man! So mad.
This is what you live for.
Do I have to rate? I would like to skip my turn. Can I pull the bus out the Uno card? Damn it! I know my
Let me set the tone.
I think I'm gonna go into it. I'm
You
gonna
got it.
go. I think I got it. This might be generous today.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
a
Oh. 1.5.
1.5. You should just put your head like there, like get the one.
Man, it's funny that you say that because my rating, I feel like you're a little too generous with your rating.
Mm,
So instead of just helping out just a little bit, I think I'm just gonna give the one.
you're gonna get the one.
Yeah, the movie is gonna get the one.
The generous.
Yeah, I was looking for a 0.5, but I didn't see it.
No,
So,
I forgot to make that one.
but we'll get into it. Unless you want me to start now.
Um, of course. Here's the UHD poster edition. I should have that just posted the whole stream. It looked like there's three of us in the stream.
There is. You just can't hear. Can't
Hello.
see.
Okay. What was her name in the movie?
The little girl.
Is that what she's credited as? Little girl?
Um, Goth chick, right?
Goth chick? Gothica? Goth.
That's her name, Goth chick. Emma Campbell. I think that was her.
Um,
Maybe not, because she was born
there
in
were
the 70s.
there was different people.
Sheena, Nurse, Ashley.
I was like, there wasn't the goth couple, the emo couple,
Oh, yeah,
or
that's who
is it
that was.
no? It might be the blonde girl,
Or is it Kate? Or is it
the one
Janine?
that's.
No, it's not Janine. She's old as shit.
It sounds like yours name of Liz Fexes. Which one was it?
Oh, was it? It was Denise, right?
D Nice. Honestly, I couldn't remember names.
That's one of the most common things about this movie that I'm kind of like, I literally watched it just probably about 2 hours ago, and it just felt really unmemorable. I had a really really rough time with it.
It was not smooth. It was real rough.
And well, you said you kind of gave your a little bit of a spoiler rating away earlier when you said literally like it took you 3 tries in a month.
It did.
I had to pause this movie at 25 minutes in and take a nap.
I can't remember. And that might have been the same reason. The first try. I don't know if I kept getting sidetracked. Like I don't. I just know the second time, which I was just like tired. And I was like, like
And I
shit.
really like the look of the film, the synopsis, the cast. I really wanted to like this movie. I was excited that I had found the film physically, but I was like, I can't wait to dig into it and see what it's about. And then it kicks off, and I didn't even usually it doesn't matter what movie or what show I'm on. I'll always write down like the IMDb ratings and the Rotten Tomato ratings. But I didn't even do that till after the movie with this one because I was like, I knew it had really, really bad reviews. I'm like, man, I'm just excited. So I dug in and I was just like really, really wanting to like this movie. And it's just, I mean, it goes from, you know, creepy, weird sex, death scenes. And then at one point, it feels like it's a crazy mythological ride that might be a possession movie, and then it's got like some stranger uh the stranger kind of feels like, oh, this something like this could happen in real life, and then it just goes back to wait a minute. Terry is waking up from this nightmare, and then she sees that Steven is no longer in the hospital. And then at that point, when she goes underwater, I'm like, what the fuck is she doing underwater? So, like, this movie is just, I feel like the movie didn't know where to go.
This movie was all over the place.
Yeah.
It was I was like, is it me that's not picking up on it? Like, am I not just not smart enough for this movie? I mean, a lot of times I kept just kind of like, what's going on here? Like, everything just seems all over the damn place. Not only that, I mean, the movie felt like forever,
Yeah, it
and it
did.
was like an hour, what, 40 minutes? I don't know.
Hour,
That's credits.
hour
What?
and 34 minutes, not counting the credits. So,
It's
like,
like
yeah, I'm the same way with you. Like, I'm the same way. Uh, for an hour and a half movie, technically, it felt like it was 2 hours, and I was just like, okay. And you would think, oh, with the movie having so many different twists and not knowing where to go, you would at least think one of the positives would be the pacing is like fast pace, but that was not the case at all.
it's like I've seen a lot of longer movies that do fly by like that, but yeah. You're talking about like that the power she goes underwater and to retrieve the body. I feel like that's done in plenty of other movies also. I just can't remember on top of my head which one, which one to be
And,
exact.
I mean, and again, that's some other stuff of the movie that I really wanted to enjoy, like, oh, the practical effects or the makeup and stuff like that. But some of the stuff that was surrounding all the practical effects were so bad that I didn't want to appreciate a lot of stuff about this movie. Like, I'm even like a huge New York City fan. Like, I was like, oh, an investigation, murders in New York City. Surely they'll make New York City feel like its own character, like some of the other movies do. Like Spider-Man makes New York City feel like its own character. This movie didn't do that. But, oh yeah, we'll use a few NYPD cars, but other than that, like, I don't know, just really pushed itself away from what I wanted it to be. And I think the title, you know, the story kind of has potential, but
Look good on paper, but on screen just isn't. I would say mean the generous part was some of the visuals. I mean, some of it wasn't really all that done good, but there was some decent stuff in there.
there was like the finding some of the dead bodies, finding the goth chick in the bathtub, right? Which, I mean,
Mm,
it looked pretty gross and pretty creepy. Um, the German right guy who, or the Polish guy who, they ended up booking him at the beginning of the movie and forcing him to go in the jail cell. He was cussing them out in German or whatever it was.
had to
Um,
use my subtitles. I mean,
some of that stuff was pretty cool. The opening death of Udo, who is kind of a well known big actor, kind of just dies in like the first 5 minutes. Um, but it kind of honestly, once the investigation goes to and you're introduced to Alistair, I feel like once you're introduced to Alistair and you kind of already know who the killer is, I feel like that's when it starts going downhill for me. A really good, and this movie to me, I feel like was trying to be like Seven with Brad Pitt, like, or Prisoners. A lot of those movies, you don't know who the killer is literally until maybe like the last 30 minutes, or you don't know who really is behind anything. This movie kind of lets you know in the first 25 minutes. You see the guy filming the murders, and then he captures that one girl on stage because she thinks she's going to like an audition or something. And so you already know in the first 25 minutes who it is. So there's no like crime suspense to it. This movie is trying to be more of a crime, suspense, Silence of the Lambs kind of movie when there's no suspense at all really in the movie. So interesting.
It's pretty hilarious how easy that girl is like. Um, he's like, you're really beautiful, whatever. He tries to compliment her and like, so really? Um, then it was like very simple, like, you should come by my this area for an audition. I was like, that wasn't really that too much convincing going on there. I was like, well, just,
And see, even then, like it didn't say where did he start filming her at? Was she at like a coffee shop? Like she was really, really gullible. And I'm like, oh, that would have made sense if he was filming her at like, an audition or something. But he's just randomly filming her outside of like a coffee shop or a
yeah,
fucking restaurant. And
just there
she's
like,
like,
oh,
yeah, she's like, oh, you really think I have what it takes?
yes. He's like, oh, don't mind me. I'm just trying to get some footage.
Yeah. That'd
By
be
the way,
like
you happen to be my shot. It just happened to be that way. I don't know.
that'd be my like me doing this. Oh, oh, yep. You're a worker at Home Depot. You know how to use a nail gun, don't you?
I'm making
Yeah.
a documentary. How does one do the job here? How stupid is going behind the scenes. I'm making a documentary of why McDonald's is not having ice cream machines working most of the time. But yeah, there's that like built this creepy guy. Just a weirdo.
What
His
did you think of the character himself, like Alistair?
Black.
Because I feel like if you're gonna make a movie like this and you're trying to create, a creepy, suspenseful killer, he's gotta nail it. And this guy nails absolutely nothing for me.
It's
Like he
very
he he
very
nailed my
generic.
eyes shut. That's what he did. But Stephen Ray, let's talk about him. Let's see. I've never seen him in anything. He plays Finch in V for Vendetta. I lied.
Hmm.
Um, that's pretty much it. He's not in anything like super huge. Not in anything girthy.
Mm,
He's in Greta. Have you seen Greta?
no.
I recommend it.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, he's not in much. He's a British actor. Stephen Ray. What did you personally think of Alistair? Did you like him? Hate him?
Well, there wasn't really so much around that character. I get they literally just showed you shots of him just around the girl, like every time, just getting those quick visuals of him with the girl. Um, I mean, it's kind of like secondary, really, because I guess the main story is with the ghost that's doing the haunting with the fEaR.com website or thing, or which the ghost is always trying to get a revenge, wants help with the whole thing, but so what movie was it talking about? What the because ghosts always tend to fuck with you all the time. Like instead of just getting help, they want to screw with you. It's like
Like Casper.
yeah, with Casper, you mean?
His uncles, man. Casper's just trying to get some help, and yet his three uncles are like, let's just mess with these people. But I think you kind of mentioned something like, no lie, last week you kind of mentioned something about Ghosts doing that on 13 Ghosts last week when we talked about 13 Ghosts on the Friday the 14th, which you guys can check out now on this YouTube channel.
Yes, go right now, and then they come back in.
Yeah. And we had a special guest last week too, so go back and check that out.
That was very so emo swall. Um, but yeah, I mean, uh, Ghost. Fuck them. That's if I learn anything from these ghost movies, yeah, just you don't want to tell me how to help you. I'm just not gonna bother. Like, but the funny thing about this, the website and everything, like it's like a game, some type of game. Like, do you wanna watch this stuff? Yes. Click yes. Or something like I don't know. What was it saying? Do you want to do something? And they're like, no. The ghost just calls him a liar.
Yeah, that's probably something I didn't really enjoy either. I think this could have been a perfect psychosocial thriller. Like if this was just somebody doing this instead of a ghost haunting story, I think it would have been a little bit better. But it had like it had too much. Like it didn't know what it wanted to be. Like, did this movie want to be a crime movie, a horror movie, suspenseful? It was bouncing on the walls.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it you kind of get lost. Well, not for too long, but it's because you're seeing like you'll see footage with the is it Stephen Frey, I believe, right? The
The
main
main
villain of
guy,
the story,
oh, them,
or is that
Steven
some?
Dorff.
No, it's the good guy. It's a good cop. Talking about the
Oh,
bad guy,
Alistair.
Alistair. Yeah, so Alistair. Yeah, I mean, because they show like him doing his torture porn shit. Like he has like subscribers and like it so we're like a YouTuber. He's being a YouTuber. You kind of you gotta wonder like is it the fear.com the same thing as what he was doing, but then like later on you can see the different like the ghost has its own site. So you're like, are these two things connected in some way? But I mean, I don't know because it's like I feel like it should have just been all one whole thing. It is kind of weird
Kind of
because you have
just
this guy being a YouTuber, and then you have the other thing being Ghost website.
yeah. It's just so many different misses on so many different levels. I even tried to look at some of the positives of like the cast, like um, Natasha and Stephen Dorff playing Mike and Terry respectively. Like the actress, I thought she did pretty good. She was a nice, comfortable fit. She was playing somebody that was like kind of like the CDC, because at first they thought it was a
Virus.
virus, which was pretty cool. I was like, okay, they're going towards um, what's the actual virus they used in the movie? It was big a few years ago.
Yeah. Swine,
No,
Ebola,
Ebola. There you go.
COVID. Just go
Yeah,
through all of this.
Black Plague.
Like,
They were, they thought it was Ebola, so she was like technically somebody from like a CDC kind of thing. So I even enjoyed that aspect of the movie. Them bringing in something like that, but again, it feels like while they were filming this movie, they were trying to throw anything they could to stick on the wall. And they were like, "Oh nope, let's just save money. Let's not edit that out. Let's just keep it in there."
spaghetti was not sticking.
Yeah,
It was not ready. mm. But like
but
the virus thing that you bring it up, that kind of reminds me of like the Pulse storyline. People getting infected and going suicidal. But this whole thing, like after seeing the stuff off the website, you die from your fear, or at least that's what they try to their theory,
big theory.
a Big Bang theory. Mm, like they got the little the train station or the subway area gets thrown against the wall, and then gets hit by the train, or
Oh, you talking
is
about the
that
guy from the beginning?
yeah? Well, I mean, is that I don't know. Like, what was his fear? just getting hit by a train. Yeah, the guy Another guy in the office area, he died by getting into a crash or something like that.
Yeah. What was your? Did you have a favorite death, even though they were all kind of just randomly mixed, thrown, randomly just thrown in there?
Mm, nothing creative really sticks out so much at all. Uh,
It's not really a favorite death, but I liked when oh, see, I already forgot her name. I liked when Terry went underwater and grabbed out that corpse. You didn't really, that was a pretty fun, positive scene out of this whole movie.
yeah, I mean that was pretty cool, but
I couldn't even understand when Terry was going through the hospital to find Mike, and she saw Mike in the hospital, you know, which was a generic looking hospital to me. And then she went underground.
it was a hospital from Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Yeah. Like for some reason she was hearing voices. Well, let's back up. But before she finds Mike in the hospital, Mike sees that video and the voice is like, "Do you want to play a game?" And I'm like, "What era are you taking this part out of now?" Like, 40 you have 48 hours to find the person or you die.
The
Do you want
ring.
to yeah, do you want to play the game, yes or no? And I'm like,
I mean, are we putting two and two together? Or like, did Saul get inspiration from fEaR.com?
Saul was 01, I think, right?
Playing games and somewhat torture porn. I don't know.
Uh,
Some people consider that.
I don't know, but I was just completely lost because I'm not even really lost. I'm gonna have a stroke here. Not really lost, but I'm just kind of like disappointed because
Mm.
it did have potential at the beginning, and then you're just like, you got 48 hours to find me. Let's play a game, and then he ends up in the hospital, and he was hearing the voices. How does Terry start hearing the voices now? Now she's hearing the voices. She's looking for Mike. She sees that he's laid up in the hospital. Then she goes underground the hospital. Underground, let's just go down in the fucking basement. And then she wakes up from the nap, right? Was this all a nightmare that she was having? She woke up to know that Mike's not in the hospital anymore.
I'm kind of going. Uh,
Because she wakes up and he's like, let's go to the morgue. And they go to the morgue and look for it. Then they find that other body, the body that had already been autopsied on. And
yeah.
I'm like,
I don't know why the first thing that pops in my head when that, as far as the blanking on coming back into the real world, I guess, was the elevator scene,
oh,
or the elevator opens up and everyone just like standing there looking at her.
yes. I was like, I don't think I could have gave this movie, lesser than a 1. But here talking about it now, I'm like, I'm heated because I'm like, you had so much God given ability of at least a decent opening and a decent, segue into the middle of the movie, and then you just completely just like you shat the bed.
Mm.
I don't know. And then you're thinking, okay, maybe this is an hour and 30-minute movie that's like, or an hour and 20-minute movie that's like a slow burn, maybe. We talked about it 2 weeks ago on Saint Maud. We were like, maybe, it took a little bit to burn, and then when it did, boy, did it burn. So I was like, all right, there's still like 15 minutes left. I have faith. Nope.
Mm.
The ending did not do anybody justice. Yeah.
Just to answer your favorite death, I'm just gonna give a cheap answer. The part where what is like detective, the researcher, or the one that was even trying to get into the website, and then stuff started happening to her. Um, the one
Oh,
that was
her.
like fearing the roaches and stuff,
Yeah. That was okay.
and then
I
jump
can. Yep. that's pretty different. That's pretty psychedelic, I guess, because a lot of people have issues with bugs, so I can kind of see that. Um, what about Jeffrey Combs, the guy who plays Styles, not AJ?
Oh,
Um, which he's the creepy hotel attendant, front desk manager, and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer.
mm.
Yeah. Um, I thought he was. I even thought he was okay in this movie as like the sidekick cop. The sidekick to Mike. You know, they made it obvious he was stuffing his face with the jelly donuts in the beginning of the movie and stuff. That's how you get introduced to him. Um, you don't see him die, but I thought his death of him hanging up in the room in the little, I don't even know what you would call that room at the end of the movie, the lair,
The lair,
the
the
hideout.
the cave, the dungeon of doom, the you call it whatever you want.
But even though you didn't get to see his death, him just hanging up, I thought that was pretty cool.
I was like, what? He got there first, and
He
he's all
died for
you
it.
waiting for the Calgary,
You
and
waiting for it.
he's like, look up there. See, he's telling me just one guy showed up.
That
But
would have
it's
been.
like basically there's gonna be a bunch of them all over the place.
Mike looks up there and he's about to say like what Randy Savage did in Spider-Man 1. What are you doing up there?
He's gonna tell him I got you for 3 minutes. It's
um
Bonesaw, man.
the fEaR.com.
Fear. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
The only thing you have to fear is putting this movie in your disc player. I thought I even checked out the special features and they were they were all right. They were telling a little bit, short and sweet, 5-minute special features here and there.
Mm.
The explanation that the director gave in that 5-minute short that I watched was a little bit more entertaining than the movie.
Says a lot.
What'd you think of, the ending going into Alistair's death?
Mm.
Because unfortunately, spoiler alert, Alistair and Mike die.
He killed out the best characters in the movie. Or maybe okay, it's a bit biased because of Steven Dorff, but um,
Both Stevens die.
both Stevens die. Um, like I mean, he went out as a hero, Mike, and was like really gets shot in the stomach area. It's like no,
Tried to save the girl.
and types in fEaR.com for one last time. The PH, not bad. That's that's the wrong website, man. fEaR.com.
That's what I mean. He was. I mean, that's what happens when he had to use Internet Explorer now instead of Chrome. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Internet Explorer.
Yeah, Later Explorer. I don't know why that reminds me of like the Kyoka versus Sadako, or I think that's what the movie's called. It's basically the Grudge versus the Ring, and I don't know if that's spoiling anything, but just bringing them together type of situation. I don't know. Maybe you can fill in the blanks with that.
You think movies like even though this is again a ghost story, do you think movies like Scream like influence something like this? Oh, a guy is using a phone to make a phone call, and let's play a game over the phone to see what your favorite scary movie is. Like this is kind of like, let's use a website, fEaR.com. Let's play a game. You got mail.
fEaR.com sounds like like a like dark web type of thing. Um,
That would have been even maybe a more suspenseful idea.
was it what you called unfriended?
Unfriended, yeah. Underrated.
I mean, I feel like the story that should have just been something like for. I mean, yeah, you have a group of friends. I heard about. Have you heard about this website called fEaR.com? And then
fEaR.com.
it's just exactly you just. It's a similar. I mean, you just see people kind of being tortured, but then the people watching it, they track down your whoever's watching, and you just get kidnapped. I don't know. It sounds pretty basic, but even then, I feel like that story is a little bit more. It's simple, but more a lot better than this movie.
Yeah. Um at this point, well, what do you think of the ending though? The phone call that Terry gets right before you go to the credits.
You really could have just done without the ending. um, I was that supposed to be a hint that I mean it's a ghost. It's Mike's ghost. Is that this supposed to be what we're supposed to think?
Mike's
Someone's like,
done.
it's
Yeah.
what's your favorite scary movie? It's just transitions to that or 7 days.
Or, is it another ghost wanting or needing revenge? I didn't get it either, you know.
It was open for a sequel, but the movie didn't do so well, so scrap the idea.
Yeah, man,
Maybe that was that.
it didn't even make its budget back.
And then maybe we could just. I think Alistair should have like a crazier death, like more gruesome, bro. Like I feel like his body should have been ripped to shreds. But said he turns like what was it? Bugs, roaches. I don't
Yeah.
know something or like just a bunch of.
And in all reality, what it does is it uses, like, exactly what it says in the title, fear, almost like what the Scarecrow uses in like Batman Begins or any Batman novel there is, how the Scarecrow uses like gas to make you fear what you fear the most. So that's kind of what this is based off of, I guess, but don't know. I agree with how cool some of the death scenes were set up in the movie. I uh I really do think that um you know I don't even know where I was going with this. With the death setup and setups in the movie, it made you feel like the ending would be a little bit more promising, but again, that wasn't even promising either. So, Alistair's death, I agree with you, was lackluster. Stephen dying, I feel like there wasn't even enough character development for Stephen or for Mike. In some horror movies, you get a little bit more character development. So whenever they do pass away at the end, or they get abducted, you're like, oh no, what's going to happen? I didn't even feel that way with Mike. I'm like, he probably he gets what he deserves anyway. Fucking
Oh,
guy, fucking Mike.
he wanted to
Um,
play the game.
yeah, I just didn't feel any connection to any of the characters because there just wasn't enough uh, story behind the character. Um, and for people out there watching or listening and saying it's fEaR.com, you don't need to be in love with any characters. No, yeah, of course you do. This movie made me think of Saw 2 when Donnie Wahlberg, was looking for his kid, and he went through the whole movie looking for the kid, and all of a sudden, Saw 2 turns into what Saw 2 obviously was. But Saw 2 is the same amount of time, an hour and a half, maybe even an hour and 24 minutes. They give a perfect amount of time to at least make you feel for him, because of what happens at the end of him. You're like, oh shit, what happened to Donnie Wahlberg? I didn't feel anything with Steven Dorff in this movie as Mike. So like when he died, I'm like, okay, did he have kids, a wife? Did he have anybody that loved him? I don't fucking care that he died.
Mm.
I just there was just no character development for Steven. Even for Terry, maybe.
Terry,
Yeah.
she loved him. They sort of, I don't know, that it was like out of nowhere romance thing going around, or they're like lying in bed together.
And that didn't even, that sequence right there was almost like, was she dreaming about that? Because that's what she wanted the most. Because there was like numerous times in this movie where she was like dozed off and dreaming or having some kind of like dream sequences. Wake up, bitch.
I think it's just the nightmarish visuals. I'm pretty sure the Steven Dorff was real life. But yeah, there's the random romance thrown into there. Like fEaR.com.
I really want to. I really do want to. If anybody else wants to chime in on this, let us know. Like, comment on here, or the Instagram Friday the 14th UHD. You guys can even send me some emails. I just want to hear some people's thoughts on fEaR.com. I mean, Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 3%. And they rate movies to 100%. So there's got to be some kind of, there's got to be some people out there who maybe can see behind some of the Steven Dorffism, if you will. I don't know. I was gonna say maybe I feel like I'm being too harsh on it, but Nick, you gave it a 1.5 too. So
a 1.5. I think that's my lowest rating on this show as of late. Right.
Even over on Friday the 14th, I haven't. Since I've been doing the show with you guys, I haven't seen you give anything a real low score. So yeah, this is the first time you're digging that grave today, boy.
Yeah, Steven Dorff was just not him alone could carry this movie.
Right. I mean, yeah, you can't put it all on him. And I don't.
I mean, I mean, like you said, Terry was nice, the character, but the story was just too mixed.
Yeah.
Is
Film facts.
Is there any film facts to be exact?
Yes, sir. fEaR.com is and was the address of the movie's official website. The mutilated bodies in Pratt's apartment are real bodies transformed into art by the German sculptor Gunther von Hagens. The name Dr. Google is written on the subway wall in the first scene. This is a reference to Mad Love 1935, another film about a mad surgeon. One of the 3 films that received an F from CinemaScore from audience upon their release in 2002. The other movies to get an F were Solaris, 2002, and Darkness, 2002. Originally given an NC-17 rating for extreme violence, but was re-rated R for violence, including grisly images of torture, nudity, and language. Some of the sets were leftovers from the 2001 action film The Musketeer, also made by the same studio. Um, doT, who's the doctor who died at the beginning of the movie, and Steven Dorff, Mike, were also in Blade from 1998 together. I'll kind of read this last one. The film's critical and financial failure damaged the director, William Malone's career, who would only go on to direct one more film before retiring, and that was called Parsma in 2008, released 6 years later. So this movie ruined that director's career. A financial debacle, which the budget was $40 million and it only made 18 at the box office. So not only did this movie ruin that dude's career, Nick, we're talking about it here today too. We're gonna stomp on a little bit more.
Sad,
man. And you know what? I mean, stuff like this, I guess in general, like it is sad. Like how you said, the dude probably did work super hard. He probably thought it was a good idea on paper. It's just, man, when things hit the wall, man, they hit the wall, and it's different now, I guess, because now a streaming service can give you $40 million, and they're like, oh, it's a shit movie. It makes no money. It's okay, but guess what? It got 54 million views. So I guess it's a little different in today's day and age. Maybe this movie was ahead of its time. I don't know about you. This movie did feel like a Netflix original. Did it to you? Did you get any kind of vibes from that? Because a lot of those Netflix originals now, they're like kind of in the same ballpark. They don't know really what they want to be, but they're like, doesn't matter what we put out. 18 million people is going to watch it, so it's a success.
Sure, out there.
Yeah, and that's what this movie to me felt like. But 20 years ago, a studio gave you $40 million to make a decent movie, and you made shit with $40 million. So, yeah,
it's been Film Facts with the real one. I think I already know the answers to this next segment, but just to go through it anyway. To be continued.
I'll save this. I don't want to see a requel or a sequel, but I think if they took this idea and made it an updated version, which you kind of answered that earlier with Unfriended, and the countdown, I guess, too, that killer app, kind of where the app is possessed, the countdown. So I guess they kind of did take some of that idea and rehash it in today's world. So never mind, that already answered my question. Because I was going to be like, maybe they could just take that same idea and just update it and reboot it. But I guess they already kind of did. What about you?
No. Yeah.
Negative.
It's a big no.
Big no.
I mean, honestly, what are you gonna do with you made a sequel? Just more stuff that's just gonna confuse the viewer. Or the little slogan or the tagline. Want to see a really killer website?
Oh my god. That right there should have been the sign. Want to see in 2022, it'd be like, do you want to see a killer app?
Do you want to see?
Do you want to build a snowman?
Do you want to see it? You want to talk about seeing? I want to see. You know what I want to see? I want to see the next film trailer.
You want to see it?
fEaR.com.
The next film trailer, my good sir. Not next week, because next week we're talking about Insidious Chapter 2 on Friday the 14th. But in 2 weeks, we
that goat scene.
the goat, yeah.
Yeah, what was that? He did like a jump.
That's all you're gonna get. You gotta watch the. You gotta watch the movie.
You choose me. You left me. You leave me with some blue balls right now.
But yeah, I think this movie is not talked about enough because of it being such an independent film. Oh, there you go. You did go out and get it. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, 4K UHD.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, before you pull that trailer, I was just like, "Oh, look, there it is." Okay.
So yeah,
Wilson.
I think the next 2 weeks are going to be fun. And next Wednesday, I think I already told you, but next Wednesday I'll let everybody know what I picked for the main Friday the 14th podcast, which is going to be July 27th.
It's gonna spoil it.
You want me to spoil it?
I mean, if you want to.
Did you go out and find it yet?
Do I go out and find it? Maybe.
If you show it, we won't say it out loud, but if you show it, go ahead and show it.
That's all you need.
Yeah. So if you found it, that's, I'm excited. I'm proud. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. Yeah.
What the hell is that? It's way closer. There you go. It's one of those you have to watch this episode to know exactly ahead of time.
Yeah, because I'm not going to say it. Nick showed it. We'll let Fuentes know next Wednesday exactly what we're going to be talking about on the 27th of July. But I think these next 3 movies are honestly going to be fun conversations. Insidious 2, The Witch, and then what Nick just showed. So I definitely think these next 3 are stepping out of our comfort zone. Insidious 2, I mean, give or take what you will, it's a fun, big mainstream horror movie. So I think that'll be a fun conversation. But, movies like this, like fEaR.com, even though we didn't like it, it was still kind of like out there, so listen to it and but shocked. No, listen to it and if anybody disagrees with us, let us know. Nick, where can they find you at and email you or send you where can they send you some hate mail?
Oh shit, you can just go right into my DMs. Like first, before getting to my DMs, you can go into the Friday the 14th Podcast UHD. That's the Instagram page. You'll see movies reviewed or stuff, feature stuff. And you can follow mine at the 4K bad guy, same as my name on. More results from the apps on your TV. I'll need to share your requests with yes, because that's exactly what it.
Ghosts.
The ghost turning on my TV over there. I had that TV turned off, and then it got excited because we're talking about reviewing some more movies. But the same as my name, the 4K bad guy.
You guys can check my stuff out over on the Instagram page. It's all one word, Cinnamon Movie Podcast on the Instagram page. You can look at all the physical media content, posters, upcoming shows, and now upcoming live shows. Once a month, you guys can come check us out at Rodeo Cinema and come hang out and spend some time with me.
Can I spend time with you?
Of course. We're only 9 hours away. Um,
Oh man.
but yeah, physical media is where it's at. Instagram, Cinnamon Movie Podcast. Nick, I gotta say, some people have found your show, Friday the 14th UHD. Obviously, we talk about it on Mondays as well, but some people have emailed our show about yours. And I wanted to share a few with you and see what you thought. So if anybody does want to send mail, like you can see at the bottom of the screen, you can hit up Nick or the IG on Friday the 14th podcast UHD. But if you guys can email me as well. It's at cinemen921@gmail.com. Some of these are from a few weeks ago. I don't have a lot this week just because I haven't checked a lot of my emails this week. Edgar says, I don't know if anybody has seen it, but whether it's Friday the 14th or UHD or even the Cinnamon Movie Podcast, I would love to hear somebody talk about the movie that you showed earlier, Nick. So, like, I've had a lot of people, just me personally, email and talk about that movie with Willem Dafoe. I won't say any more, but like, I don't know.
Spider-Man.
But for some reason, like that movie just intrigues like conversation, and it's just kind of like haunted me for years and years. I've only seen it one time, and that's when somebody recommended it to me. But for some reason, people just want to hear a conversation about that movie. Sam G69 says, "Yo, I just rented Father's Day, and I don't know what I just sat through, but I kind of think I liked it. Really enjoyed the stream too. It was fun. Keep it up."
It's one of those movies that'll grow on you, despite how terrible it is.
I liked it more than fEaR.com.
I mean, there's that. I mean, Father's Day was entertaining. I mean,
I'll share this last one. We kind of already answered it, but you can answer this one. I watched the live stream of UHD and I loved you and Nick's thoughts on Saint Maud. Definitely made me just sit and think and want to even rewatch it again after your episode. If you guys could do another A24 movie on UHD, what would it be? Nick?
on UHD, I feel like I had to go into that catalog of the more lesser known titles, and I mean, if I find one, I'll put it up there. I just know a movie that I know Juan's gonna be doing a Cinema Movie podcast for the month of August, and he gave me the invite to choose a movie if I want to.
There you go. Pop up, pop in.
So I have an A24 movie over there. It's not horror, but it's A24.
We'll do it. Yeah, because that whole month of August is just going to be nothing but horror, or not horror, but A24. Starting July 31st, every single Monday and every single Thursday is going to be A24. So I'm excited.
Damn.
Yeah. But yeah. That's
okay, put in that work, man. You put in that work. Well, it was lovely talking to you as usual. It's the part where I start tearing up because like I don't want to end the stream. I don't want to say goodbye. But this is the end of the road for now.
It's never goodbye. It's see you later.
Yes, it is see you later.
Maybe Friday. Maybe we'll talk some. Maybe we can undress some physical media on Friday.
I have stuff you may not be ready for.
Oh, I'm ready.
I mean, you might come at me with some stuff like, "Oh shit! Look at that stack."
But girthy stack.
I'll just say what I got. You
All
want to tune
right.
in for that.
Tune in Friday.
But this is it. Remember, folks, always been a bad guy. Bad guy. Huh. I'll see you in the next one, guys.